We have a brand new episode, a super episode of the Brought in Forever podcast, presented by Kenwood Beer, my favorite beer. I'm your host, Shamus Clancy, Deputy Sports Editor, PhillyVoice.com, joined by Zo, rocking what seems to be an electric Jerome Brown Eagles t-shirt.
Let's
if you're
go,
watching on YouTube, you're watching on our Instagram page, doing a reel. We are here. We are 54 hours
54 hours out.
54 hours away from the Super Bowl.
54 hours out, baby.
54 hours from glory.
Oh, man. How you feeling, bro?
Good. As I'm sure some of our listeners saw on Twitter and Instagram, TikTok. I was out in Arizona for a few days, so I had a early morning flight Monday.
Okay.
Did some of the interviews and stuff. The media night, very hectic down in the Suns Arena is where it was located. Felt like I was in a WWE match on the floor down there. Every big week, and the national media is there, writers, TV reporters, everyone. So a little hectic, but exciting as hell. Tuesday and Wednesday, did a bunch of interviews at the Eagles Hotel, which was a super secluded location. Got to take a bus to get there. I have a story about that we could get into too. And I flew out. My flight home was Wednesday night at 11:59. So I had a red eye. I started watching The Sopranos for the first time on the flight. Did 4 episodes in. Go trajectory so far, of course.
Yeah.
And got back home in my bed at 7 a.m. Thursday and slept for 7 or 8 hours. So my sleep schedule's a mess.
Yeah.
But I'm all amped up, running on adrenaline.
Let's go.
For Super Bowl Sunday.
Let's go. How man, I don't even know where to start. What were the I'm not gonna say low lights. It's the Super Bowl week, but what are some of your personal highlights from being out there? For this year, this is your first time, so the backstory is cool. So what stuck out for you the most?
I'll give you the low light because it's hilarious. So what day was that? Tuesday. So Wednesday morning, I believe it was Wednesday or Tuesday. Tuesday. I'm sorry. So Tuesday morning, State Farm Stadium is doing a food and beverage showcase. Where I could go out and try and sample the big time concessions they'll have there for fans.
Yep.
So I took an Uber there early Tuesday morning. Things started at 9:00. What I did not know is we were being able to get on the fields before on the sideline. So I was able to snap a bunch of pics, do some videos of me talking in the background, talking about the game.
Right.
Unbelievable experience for someone who's not going to be able to attend the game itself. Being able to be there, even though it's an empty stadium, was still a surreal experience. And, I took a picture of myself on the field at the fucking Super Bowl. Not too many people can say that. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Did the food and beverage sampling. It was great. There were 6 cocktails you could try. And they weren't little samples. They were legit sized cocktails. And it's not even 10:30 a.m. And I'm in line. Everyone's ordering a single cocktail and a bottle of water. And I'm like, shit, I'm doing a review for PhillyVoice.com. It's up there on PhillyVoice.com. You can check out my review of the food and drinks, mixed bag all around, but that's kind of what you would expect, right?
Yeah.
So I ordered 2 cocktails. Not a crazy funny look, but a little bit okay. Didn't order water or anything.
Yeah.
And, I'm having the servers. They were super duper nice, explain everything to me, what's in them so I could write about them. And I was drunk off of them because all I was eating were these little tiny samples, and they were hefty pours. I don't know if they'd be that hefty on game day when a bunch of drunk idiots are breathing down their necks.
Right.
They gave us sizable pours. And I wish this showcase was at night, a 7 or 8 o'clock event, because then I would have gone through and tried all of them. But I had a day left of interviews, so I was like, I'll just cut it off at 2, unfortunately. So then after that, at I believe 1 or 2 o'clock Phoenix time after that, were Eagles interviews with the players.
Okay.
Now, I thought those interviews were by the hotel and convention center downtown where I was staying. Everything was walkable. I was staying in one of the 2 main NFL media hotels. So basically everyone there was me, local, national, whatever.
Okay.
On the way there, I realized this is at the Eagles Hotel, which is in a super secluded location, Wild Horse Pass in Phoenix. So I have to change the Uber location in there on the drive. Price doubles. I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like, hey, man, I got to go somewhere else. And he was like, okay. And really hard to find. We think we're going one way.
Right.
Cop stops us. I thought he was gonna like pull out a gun. He was like incredulous. He was like, "You can't come in here." And I'm like I'm in the back seat, window down, hold my press pass. I was like, "Hey, media, me Super Bowl meeting," and I was like, "Nope, can't come in here, can't come in." And I was like, "How far is the walk?" And I just walk through this gate and go. I'm behind schedule and everything. And he's like, "Nope, got to go out and go this way. Get out and go that way." Basically, the same thing happened to someone else. They tell us to go another way.
Right.
This ultimately is the right path we're finally on. And we're driving through one security stop. The guy has to give, the Uber driver has to give the security guard his ID. Right. They write all the information down. I have to show my pass. 100 yards later, there's a drug check. So the Uber driver has to turn the car off, turn all the windows down, and the K9 unit is circling the truck. And this guy seemed to be, I thought I would have killed me and left me out on the highway a long time ago. God bless his patience. I think he was into it because he wanted to have something noteworthy happen while he was driving. So I was a reporter, so he seemed like he was all into it.
Right.
And we end up going in, get closer, you get dropped off, and I was like, shit, that was insane. And I get there on time. I'm able to do my interviews and everything.
That's
but I was like, Jesus, this guy he was living it up. And I'm like, what if this dude just had fucking kilo in the trunk for all I know?
Right. Say,
cooking raw.
Tonight we live with the gods, brother.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or he had a bag of weed from the dispensary in the glove compartment. I'm in jail for my Uber driver at the Eagles Hotel. That would have been not the greatest story.
Yo, you're not slowing down, dude. Yeah, I told you I'm not going back.
Yeah, like Bill Ponderosa peeling out on the street. That was his vibe. For highlights, I don't know. It's the state being on the field for the stadium was probably the highlight. So that was a mixed bag day. Interviews went really well. Talking to players, talked to a variety of players, did some stories, how they run through some of the stories. Agreed to Philly Voice, did a Brandon Graham story. Talking about, facing Patrick Mahomes, played the GOAT last time, took down the GOAT. What's that meaning for the new age GOAT? Talked to Dallas Goedert about being the guy who, he's the Eagles' first pick coming off the Super Bowl. So he enters the team in that locker room where they have that Super Bowl win hanging over them. And that core continuously disappointed through the years. And then it basically broke up after Wentz and Doug were gone. And now he's one of the capital T, capital G, the guys on this run and setting his own legacy. He's no longer in Ertz's shadow. He's no longer has that banner hanging over everyone. It's his turn.
Right.
So with the James Bradbury's trying to live in the moment, not worried about the offseason. But again, that could be a guy who I would expect to be his last game as an Eagle. They have a lot of free agents coming up. He's on a 1-year deal, $7.25 million. Bargain deal for Howie Roseman. The Giants did him a little dirty, cutting him way after free agency period kicked off, limited his teams. Eagles gained, but hard for Bradbury's wallet, I would say. So he's going to get a big old fat contract this offseason, much deserved, good for him.
Yeah, rightfully. I mean, the dude's going to get. Yeah, he's going to clean up. He should. He's been statistically one of the 3 best corners in the league all year. He's been a good soldier. Outside of that, been a good teammate. All his teammates like him. But I think the business side of things, I think they all realize that. It's interesting. I was listening to a sound clip from, it might have been from the 2018, so right before the Saints game. I think it was like the pump up video.
Okay.
Before the Saints game, and it was Malcolm saying like this team is not going to be the same next year.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for a lot of teams, but specifically for this roster is very true. This roster will not be the same in April. It's not. It's just, so like whatever we see Sunday, I think that these guys are definitely enjoying it because they know that this is their last time playing together. Like this is the business side of football is going to take over, and it happens to everybody. Attrition happens, and then it's not a cloud, but also hanging over this entire franchise is you got to pay your quarterback.
Yes.
And just like, paying your best player, 60% of your salary cap in the NBA, in the NFL on this team. The quarterback is about to command about 40% of the salary cap. So things are about to get a lot tighter than they usually should. But this is an instance where you expect all this. So it's up to Howie to work his magic again.
I wonder if CJ will be back. I would have used the funds they might use on Bradbury for CJ, younger player, versatile player. Yeah. I'm wondering. I mean, he had a great year, had an injury, but still he missed 4 or 5 games and still was tied for the league in interceptions.
Yep.
If he has a great game Sunday, he might end up playing his way out of the Eagles' price range too.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an ideal scenario. Out of the big free agents, I would say I'd expect TJ Edwards to be back.
Yep.
Jordan Hicks got a really large contract after the Eagles Super Bowl. I think it was 4 years, $51 million to the Cardinals. So who knows? Maybe he has a big game, he had a really good season. And his climb, I always say, from an undrafted rookie free agent to where he is now is huge. I was talking to him a little bit about facing Travis Kelce on Wednesday. Tech talking about, he said he, grew up wanting to be a hoops guy. He had hoop streams. And I remember I asked a couple of guys, what was the first Super Bowl you watched? And he talked about that. He grew up a Bears fan. So he was talking about the Devin Hester return, Bears Colts in 2006, I believe. So that was cool. But I think I could see him back on a fair contract. Miles probably walks. They probably drafted running back on day 2. Yep. And I expect CJ to be there. And even if CJ's not there, I really like what we've seen from Reed Blankenship. He's the guy I wanted to talk to. Time-wise, it just didn't work out. I thought that would have been an intriguing story. So one last thing from Arizona I'll close out with because it was fun. New story, and it just published on phillyvoice.com. So if you're listening, check that out. I went to an Eagles bar in Scottsdale, Arizona, Rock Bar.
Nice.
Phenomenal decor, 2 floors, up top roof deck.
That's awesome.
Beautiful weather. A lot of outside area too, besides the inside of the bar. Inside covered with Eagle shit.
Yeah.
They're going to block off the entire street. The owner, Nima, great guy, general manager. I shouldn't say owner. I should say general manager.
Yeah.
Blocked off the whole street. They're blocking off the street. They did that for the Super Bowl in 2018. They're doing that again. They expect a couple thousand people there. A couple thousand people. They say on a usual NFL Sunday, they'll probably have 300 people there. And it's all Eagles shit. It's all Eagles.
Yeah.
He told us the story, told me the story. I went there Tuesday afternoon, evening, happy hour. So he says, bar opened 11 or so years ago, a year or 2 in. Bar down the street was one of those bars that try to cater to everyone. Had flags up for every team, Eagles, Vikings, Saints, whatever, college teams. And whoever the Eagles might have been playing that day, the bar was catering to a large group of the Eagles' opponent.
Okay.
And all the Eagles fans were like, fuck this, we're not staying here. And they pull up to their place, Rock Bar, and they're like, can we watch the game here? Can you put the Eagles games on? Sure. Had a great time. And they're like, can we come back next week? Can we do this again? And I said, yeah, if you bring 20 or 30 people in the morning, let's do that. And it just snowballed from there. The guy said he's a huge Eagles fan now. He's not a guy from the area. He grew up in North Scottsdale. He said he's a laid-back West Coast vibe, and these East Coasters come in, high energy, dropping F-bombs all the time. And, they have their go-to brewery out there. I guess it might be like similar to Yards here.
Yeah.
It's Four Peaks Brewing. Had a couple of their beers. I had a guy next to me the whole time from Bucks County. He was buying me a bunch of hazy IPAs. Some other guy across the bar bought me a shot of Rumpelmints, which I haven't drank in years and years. It was the most random thing I could have gotten. Had an awesome time just shooting the shit, talking to birds, seeing fans. And at one point, there might have been like 15 people in there. It was 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. So a lot of people that are going to the game probably weren't out there yet. But that was the best time for me to go, given how long I was out there for. And someone walks out, got an Eagles hat on. Go Birds, walking out. Everyone on cue in unison, go Birds, right back. I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is great. And I kind of wish I could. I don't like it. I definitely talked this before. I don't like watching Eagles games at bars, but I'd love to see their Instagram stories on Sunday. They should be really cool. I want to plug their Instagram real quick to give them the procs. Nima, thank you very much. I believe our good friend Tyler might stop by there this week. I think he just got out there yesterday.
Yep.
So it's Eagles West AZ is the Eagles West fan club headquarters type John for Eagles fans out there as a heads up.
Thank you to the Rock Bar. I read for the Cardinals game. They were the bar that people were talking about. They're like,
Okay.
that was like the spot you had to go to. At first, I thought it was like they just found some random bar and decided to take it over. And now that I'm continuing to read more about the bar, like that's crazy. Like the backstory and like just the way that it's come about. Like I love stories like that. Like that dude just a chill West Coast dude who just happened to be welcoming one day, and now he's owner of the biggest Eagles bar on the West Coast, probably.
Yeah, and like the signage outside, you would have thought the bar is called Eagles Country with the flags out there. You can barely see that it's called Rock Bar. Like it wears that shit on its sleeve. It's not shy about that at all. It's upstairs. There's a great, they had a bunch of Eagles memorabilia and shit in there. It was awesome, man. And if you're an Eagles fan out there this weekend, if you're going there for work, a lot of people, go to work in Scottsdale, Phoenix. I think Scottsdale it was about a 20-minute Uber from downtown Phoenix, I would say, just to give people a heads up. But a really good scene. If you're out there ever, bachelor, bachelorette party, weekend, work trip, whatever, some time away, definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend it. It was a great vibe, great energy. And yeah, I'm excited for them on Sunday. I hope they have a banging ass crowd, have some good videos. And of course, I hope they get to see an Eagles win.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see it. They'll probably have their own parade and shit.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Simulcasting the parade.
Yeah. Simulcasting parade, having their own parade. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's great. Oh, shit. Want to talk about the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is my vibe. This Super Bowl reminds me of a previous Super Bowl within the last 10 years. So I'm going 2013. Seattle Seahawks make their first Super Bowl in 8 years.
Yep.
They play the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
Who have Peyton Manning at the time, best quarterback in the NFL. A guy I consider a top, three, to me, a top 3 guy all time. He's going to end up in the top 5 with Mahomes, Montana, and obviously Brady's the GOAT.
Yep.
And that was an electric offense, tons of weapons, and one of the all-time greats at the peak of his powers. And they ran into a team with a second-year starting quarterback who was young, day 2 pick, and just oozed intangibles from the start. And before he knew it, he took over for the incumbent quarterback in his rookie season.
Right.
They had talent everywhere on the roster. One of the most stacked rosters in the modern NFL and the modern CBA era. Defense, tremendous. Ball hawks, warriors, guys that are just playing violent, playing physical. I think in the last 10, 15 years, that might be the best team that's ever played. I would say in the 21st century, the 2 best teams I've seen are the 2003 Patriots and the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks beat the balls off the Broncos in the Meadowlands.
Beat the brakes off them, yeah.
And I could see a similar situation playing out on Sunday with the pass rush, with Mahomes potentially making some mistakes, a little banged up with that high ankle sprain. Who knows how he's feeling? You also have this defense that's chopping at the bit and this leader who's oozing confidence. And even if he doesn't have the most statistically wild game ever, I have the utmost confidence he's going to lead everyone around him to victory. So my prediction is a 38-23 Eagles win. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a defensive touchdown or 2. I wouldn't be surprised if the defensive player won Super Bowl MVP like that Seahawks team did, Malcolm Smith.
Yep.
Maybe it's CJ Gardner-Johnson.
CD Deuce.
Maybe it's Reed Blankenship. Maybe it's James Bradbury. Maybe it's Hassan Reddick. Maybe it's BG. Maybe it's Josh Sweat. Or hell, maybe Hurts leads him on a game-winning drive and it's him himself. Maybe he goes 2001 Tom Brady style in them at the end. Maybe not the greatest stats, but a winner who wins and leads to that Jake Elliott 48-yard walk-off field goal. I think the vibes are tremendous, and people in Philadelphia are so used to being scared, to being negative, to being pessimistic, that for the first time really I can remember, people are confident, but it's not too confident. They're right. They're just in their confidence because this team, if they win, they're going to be 17-1 with their starting quarterback. They might have been 18-2 if he didn't miss those games and was healthy. They probably sit the guys last game of the season.
Yeah.
they should go down if this is a game where they win by double digits against the most talented player ever, a top 2 or 3 offensive play caller ever. If they win this game like that, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, they still have to fucking win first. I think this should be considered one of the best teams in the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think they are. I think we are, as a fan base, as a city, getting used to this narrative being different than 2017. We're not underdogs. No one's calling us underdogs. I think the most drama you've seen all week is actually from 49ers players and
Can you
fans.
just shut the fuck up?
Right. Who just need to shut the fuck up. Like that, they're just embarrassing.
The
really,
players are worse than the Vikings fans were, and they're the fucking players.
1,000%. Like, fuck the Vikings too, but like they are the 49ers, like their fan base and their players this week have been embarrassing, just disgusting. And I think that speaks to the respect that both these teams have for one another, the respect specifically that Sirianni and his staff and a lot of those players have for Andy Reid, and the respect that Andy Reid has for that team, and a lot of those guys that that he's either seen grow up in the league or literally drafted for 3 or 4 of them that are left. So I do think that stuff aside, this is just going to be a matchup of good old fashioned mano a mano. Who's got the biggest brain? Who's taking the biggest shots? And I think we've seen all year that Sirianni has trusted his quarterback to come through in big moments, and he has yet to fail him. I'm like you. I got 34-17. I feel like we've seen this defense perform to its utmost in many, many games this year, but I think this may wind up being the curtain call for this defense. I think we're going to see exactly what people have been talking about all year, in so much as how special Hassan Reddick is and how much he means to this defense, just how good the secondary can be, just how good that the rest of that front seven is. Josh Sweat, a curtain call for BG and most likely for Cox as well. So I'm excited, man. I do think that the nerves will kick in tomorrow and closer to kickoff.
You ain't sleeping Saturday night.
No, you ain't sleeping. I'm not sleeping Saturday night because look, hand the guy, like, this is still a game you got to win. It's still Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean?
We're confident, but it's not a walk in the park. They're not playing the Giants in the division round. They're playing Patrick fucking Mahomes.
No, I'm certainly more confident, and then I'm also on the other side of that, I'm like terrified that Isaiah Pacheco rips one for 60 yards to start the game. So I am excited and really, really, really thrilled to see just how they perform. I will say one thing that stuck with me this week is, I don't want to say, it's weird, I don't want to call it a guarantee, but it's not a win guarantee. But Jeffrey Lurie was asked how he felt about Jalen Hurts specifically, and he pretty much was like, he's our guy. Like, we got what we wanted out of him, like, regardless of what happens. And like, he didn't need to say that, because I think we all assume so. Jalen has more than earned it, but I think that's really cool coming from someone like him, a guy who has to sign the check, basically.
Yes.
Saying, we got our guy right here. Like, he doesn't have to do anything else. So I think that was really cool. I think that was one of the headlines of the week for me. So I think that's another reason why they're going in so carefree, man. They have nothing to lose, honestly. Like, you have nothing to lose, man. This is it. Just go and let it all out and play football. Like, you generally have, nothing to lose. And if you play your game, the Chiefs will not literally be able to hold a candle to you. Like, that's how I feel. Like, if you just go out and play the way you've been playing, the way you played the first 13 weeks of the year, the Chiefs will not. That Chiefs offense will be so neutralized, it won't even matter.
I think they fucking crushed them on the ground.
I do think, yeah.
I think we're in for a 210-ish yard rushing game from this team. Yeah, whether that's 60 from Jalen, 70 from Miles,
right? Well, 40 from Boston Scott.
You had the rest from Kenny and Boston, who those guys, and we'll get into some bets. The prop bets action for them is intriguing for me.
People have been mentioning what I guess is everything's narrative this week, but a lot of folks have been talking about Jalen Shoulder, excuse me, and how he's feeling and so on and so forth. I don't think that the shoulder is a problem, and if it is, he's hiding it really well. But I think that this is a game where they will try to pound the rock a lot early and often too. I don't know. I'm curious to see how many times they'll let him kind of get out in open field and burn a little bit. But I do think we'll get a heavy dose of Miles and Kenny, like you said, and Boston Scott. Like I can totally see them racking up or trying to rack up close to 200 yards of ground game.
Miles, probably his last game as an Eagle too. There's no saving him for the playoffs. There's no saving him for the fourth quarter.
Nah,
they're gonna run him, and we poke fun at Miles a lot. I think we have fun with the Penn State shit.
Yeah,
but talented guy, and I think Kenny Gainwell's gonna get a healthy amount of snaps because he's the third down guy, he's the 2-minute offense guy, and he's my lottery ticket MVP bet.
Yeah.
But I also wrote on PhillyVoice.com today, I did 5 guys that intrigue me for Super Bowl MVP bets. Obviously, Jalen's the favorite. He's tied with Mahomes at plus 130.
Right.
Miles at plus 2,500. Again, he's gotten those goal line carries that he didn't get last year, including the playoffs. He's had 13 touchdowns. If he has a game where he has 85, 90 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and Jalen's passing numbers aren't spectacular, he could win
MVP.
it.
Yeah, that's MVP.
I'd be brutally owned, but he would win MVP.
I don't think Jalen's going to throw it 35 times. I don't think
they'll need to.
You don't need to, right? I don't think we will see that. I think that they are going to try to establish a run early. And I think that listen, Chris Jones and the rest of that Chiefs line, they know how to get to the quarterback. They're pretty sound. But I still think that there is more than enough opportunity in making them pay in the ground game. So I hope they, even if early results don't yield much, I still hope they stick with it.
Yeah, because the thoughts about Hurts as a franchise guy, his future in Philadelphia, his status as an NFL player, as a passer, it's always, and I agree with it, is the best way for sustained long-term success in the NFL is having a great passing offense.
Yes.
But Sunday, there's no sustained success on Sunday. You're trying to win one fucking game.
That's it.
If Pound the Rock and Jalen having 100 and having that Packers game where they have 263 rushing yards or whatever, if that's what it takes to win one game, they're not trying to win the 2025 Week 15 game right now against Dallas on Sunday Night Football. They're trying to win this one game. And Kansas City hasn't played one good friggin' rush offense all year. The best they had was Los Angeles, the Chargers, and I think they were 14th. They're not ready for this. They're not built for this. The defense, they have talent there. Chris Jones, awesome player, deserved to be Defensive Player of the Year finalist. I would say I would have went with Bosa, Reddick, as we talked about Hassan. He's playing the best of any Eagles defensive player I've seen ever. And just in this last 2 months, I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Famer like Brian Dawkins. Will never touch Reggie White, but that's what he's been playing like. I think rushing and running the ball down their throat. I think they're going to try to throw some. I think they're going to do that shot to AJ from Jalen that hasn't clicked the last 2 weeks. And that's a thing that during the regular season, 7 or 8 times out of 10 was working. And with Jalen back in form, back in a groove, could see it, man. I don't know if that's the first play of the game. I don't know if that's 3rd and 3 at the 45-yard line because they know they're going to go for it on 4th down. I don't know what it is, but I think we're going to see it at least once.
I think Spagnuolo has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. I would expect him to. He knows this team. Speaking of the Eagles, he knows this team better than most they would face in the Super Bowl. So I do expect some wrinkles. I expect that they'll probably throw something new at Jalen. That's to be expected. But I also think that Sirianni will throw something new at him. That's what the chess game is, right? Like what can we show you that you haven't seen on tape, and what can you show us, or what can you think that you're showing us? So it is going to be a very, very, very fun game to watch if you are like an X and O's guy, because no one studies film and strategy and shit like that more than these two coaches, these two staffs, these two teams. Like I think that it's going to be a really, really, it's going to be a game that goes to whoever can stay in their shit the longest, right? What I mean by that is if if your run game's not working but you stay with it, and you're probably going to, once you rip that 70-yarder, that's going to be the
Yeah,
payoff.
maybe Miles has a home run. He hasn't
That's
hit
what I'm
one really
saying. Like
this
once
year. I
you,
mean, that was his calling card his first couple of years in the league.
like my thing is stick with it. So like if you can stay in your shit the longest, stay hovering around, and like if it's, I know what my prediction was, but if it winds up being 28-21, we still got a victory. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they win by 1 and don't fucking cover for
Right.
Philadelphians and Eagles fans.
Right.
No, I'm trying to. I don't even know the last team to. I think the Patriots in 2016
I think,
when
yeah.
they had that crazy. I had them. I think I had them 6.5. I took
Yep.
them,
Yep.
and of course they couldn't cover because they just won in overtime, so they won by 6 and didn't cover.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit that they didn't cover. Everyone was amped
Right.
because they won. It doesn't matter how they win. It doesn't matter if this is a disgusting 16-13 game, which it won't be. It doesn't matter if it's any of that shit. It just
Right.
matters if it's a win. That's all it's going to get remembered.
That's all it takes. Like that's all we care about.
Whatever guy has a transformative play, he gets known as the fucking GOAT. He's the legend. He's the next BG. He's the next Foles. Whatever. Just win.
That's it. That's all we care about. Just let's get a W. So we still got what 52 hours, I believe.
Oh my god, fucking agonizing.
This is gonna be, it's just gonna be a tough time until we're literally at kickoff, and then we can be done with it.
It's just so fucking long. It's so fucking long.
I know.
Got any bets you're looking at? I'm pulling up right now.
So I'm pulling it up too, actually.
My lock of the week, I've hit these in the playoffs, is I think every round of the playoffs, the lock of the week has hit, which is
that's crazy.
That's improbable awesome. As all hell. And in the first two playoff games, I had the same lock of the week. It was Christian Kirk touchdown.
Yeah.
And money line in the wild card round. Then I had Christian Kirk and Jaguars spread in the division round. That hit. Conference championship game had Hassan Reddick 1 sack, Eagles money line. That hit. And I am going back to that saying Hassan Reddick 1+ sack, Eagles money line parlayed on DraftKings Sportsbook plus 225. That is my lock of the week.
I got two. I got Jalen Hurts anytime TD.
I like.
I love that. I think they're going to get in a goal line stand, and he'll walk in either on their second or third time in the red zone. He'll take one in. And my other one is AJ Brown, 30+ receiving yards in the second quarter. So I think AJ Brown.
You took that in the second quarter specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second quarter. I'd like him to have a good second quarter. So I am very concerned about the AJ Brown and Jalen dynamic in terms of them. I know they've had 2 weeks to work it out, but it just feels like if they can just connect on one, they'll be back on track. So I really, really hope that the first couple of scripts at least include like just one one big strike, and we see if that like turns the tide. Because then like I know that what's the last thing we saw? I was just looking at it. Yeah, like I think that they said that L'Jarius Sneed was going to play, so like he'll probably be on him. But I would test that knee right away. Like, why not give it a shot and let's see.
Little double move, boom.
Yeah, little double move. I would literally test that bad boy out right away and see if he's fully recovered.
I have 2 Super Bowl MVP picks. Hassan Reddick plus 3,400. I got it on FanDuel. I saw it open as high as plus 5,000. So if you did that and got that good shop, hats off to you. That was a $20 to win $700 payout. Additionally, again, I mentioned earlier, my lottery ticket pick, my long shot pick, Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah.
$5 plus 13,000. $5 to win $650.
Love it.
I mean, he could be Corey Clement, right? Where he has just the third string guy, has a bunch of receiving yards, has a touchdown or two, and maybe they eke it out and he gets it. That'd be pretty friggin' insane, but it's not implausible. And I have one parlay as of now that I have cooked up. Look at it. It is a defensive-centric parlay based off, again, Hassan Reddick. He was part of my lock of the week.
Yeah.
It's a big feature of my longer parlay. I have Eagles money line, Eagles 5+ total sacks as a team, which would be a lot.
That's a lot.
And Hassan specifically 2+ sacks. Did a little. You can get a Super Bowl odds boost on DraftKings currently up to 100%. I only got 20%. I only get 20%. Don't know why. So that I took that from plus 2,000 to plus 2,400. So that is a $10 to win $250 payout.
You know what? I'm especially in on the sack one. I know that's crazy thing to say.
But Mahomes a little gimpy, and this pass rush has never showed a sign of slowing down against friggin' anyone.
Like Mahomes has been gimpy. These guys don't slow down. Like if it's not Reddick getting to somebody, it's Sweaty having a good game, or it's BG having reeling off 2 sacks out of nowhere. So until someone shows the ability to slow them down, all due respect to this line, I don't think it's going to be this line that does it either. I think that at some point, if it's not in the first quarter, it'll be second or maybe after the half. But they're eventually going to start teeing off on him. It's only a matter of time. They haven't been slowed down by anyone at all.
The odds on my lock of the week have already dropped to plus 220. We got Vegas listening to this fucking live stream.
All right. Who's the rat out in Vegas?
I have some novelty props up on DraftKings that are fun. Any quarterback to have a reception. What would you guess it is?
What was that, like a plus 600?
Plus 1,200.
All right.
I was looking for. I haven't seen in the playoffs yet a over under 2.5 players to throw a pass, attempt to pass. I like that one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
They said that Mahomes ran everything this week. I would bet a nice chunk that there's some kind of like Tony pass to him in there somewhere, just so he can throw a middle finger to us, like Philly special style.
Any offensive lineman to score 1+ receiving touchdowns, plus 3,500. So, like, if Jason Kelce got that fullback touchdown, that doesn't count, just as a heads up. So, read the fine print.
Fine print.
Any non-quarterback to have 1+ passing touchdown, plus 1,800.
Yeah. I would
Any player to have a pass completion and a reception and a rush attempt, plus 900. So, if Miles Sanders or Boston Scott or Gainwell threw the ball, that would count.
Okay.
I'd rather take any quarterback to have a reception at plus 1,200 than that. Either team to kick a game-winning walk-off field goal at end of normal time, plus 1,000. And a quarterback to have 1+ receiving touchdown, plus 2,800. Super Bowl records. Let's see this. Will any player break the Super Bowl touchdown passing record over 6.5? That's plus 4,000. That's a no.
Yeah.
Any player break the Super Bowl passing yards record? I mean, I don't think that's impossible in Mahomes. If it's just like another 41-33 game, who fucking knows, plus 3,500.
Who knows, yeah.
Any player break the Super Bowl receiving yards record over 215.5? No. I feel like the only player who could really break that realistically is Tyreek. He's no longer on the Kansas City for Eagles fans' favor.
Yeah. Whoever I think could break that record is not on either of these teams. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then who will break if any player will break the Super Bowl rushing yards record, which is over 204.5. Again, I don't think any player on this team is equipped to do that. No. And if Jalen Hurts even had his all-timer Hall of Fame day, I would maybe max him out at 180 rushing yards.
I would give that. You know what? If it was the Titans, I would honestly give.
That's why I thought. That's why that's the player I had in mind. He's the only guy who could do it because he's the only guy they're going to run. There's no guy filling in for him. 3 down back. He's getting it every time. See, novelty props. You have coin toss. We have MVP specials. We knew that already.
Do we have how long the anthem's going to be?
Let's check on DraftKings. Novelty prop bets, coin toss, jersey number, squarigami, coaches challenge. Will there be a flea flicker? Plus 210. Those odds are horrible.
Those are terrible odds. Nah, I'm not touching that.
Will there be an octopus? Are you familiar with the octopus?
No.
So that's given octopus 8. That is if a player scores a touchdown and scores the 2-point conversion.
Oh,
So if Jalen Hurts rushed for a touchdown and then got the 2-point conversion on a QB sneak or run, plus 1,400. Yeah. Philly's own Sports Illustrated writer, Mitch Goldich, who I hung out with at the Super Bowl, really good guy. He is the originator of that. I don't think he gets paid. I don't think he gets any money for any of this shit or trademark, which is bullshit to me. But yeah.
Yo, shout out to Mitch, man.
Yeah, good guy, Philly area guy, much respect. Any field goal or extra point to hit an upright or crossbar, plus 450. I don't see anything on I could check the other books for the anthem because I want to know that. Oh my God. You could do like who has more points, like the Eagles are fucking Jason Tatum. Who the fuck cares? Passing props, receiving props, head-to-head player parlays, team props, game props. No. DK specials. These are always fucking dumb. Boston Scott, Bleacher Report, squad pride, 10+ rushing yards, plus 115. So there's one special on here. Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes to throw 1+ touch pass, minus 20,000. Ooh. I think it might be. No, it's what the hell's the point of having that on there? If it's a special, what that seems like something they do as a like the free bet of the weekend. Either of them have one touchdown, boosted to plus 100, and the max bet's $15 or whatever. That feels like that thing. Yeah. So I don't know that. I'll do one check on FanDuel, then we can wrap it up with anything else we want to talk about.
Right.
I like the Hassan pick. He's my official MVP pick, and I'm almost wondering if the things are going too far his way, where it's not going to hit now. Got any novelty props? That's what we want. We want the stupid props. Hurts props, Mahomes props. Get the Eagles plus 900 to win next year's Super Bowl.
I would take that.
So would I. Plus 1,800 scoregami. Either Miles Sanders or Isaiah Pacheco to record 100+ scrimmage yards, plus 200. I mean, that's a nice bet.
That's a nice one. I would, you know what? I would lean toward Miles on that. I love Pacheco, by the way. Semi-local guy, Rutgers kid. Like he's been playing his ass off for them, and I think he'll show up on Sunday. So I would.
Have you ever been on the coin toss?
I have done a coin toss last year. I didn't do it, but previous years that's been one of my favorite novelties. The coin toss.
I bet it last year and lost. I got like a $10 casino bonus on DraftKings or FanDuel, and I have a bonus. Yeah. I got it up to $40, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's just throw it on coin toss." And my thing was, if I won the coin toss, I would live bet it on something, just let's have some fun. Obviously, I didn't win on the coin toss, but you should be able to parlay the coin toss.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing.
See if your bet's over before the kickoff even starts.
That's my only thing with those is that you have to you got to do all your you got to do everything separate and then add a parlay. So like you have to literally bet. Like you have to invest like $200 just to have a winning night.
How much do you think it is for the opening kickoff to be returned for a touchdown?
I would say that's probably. I would give it a plus 1,600.
10,000.
Wow.
I feel like it's just a touchback.
I feel like it's a touchback, man. I don't know. Like
hasn't Bucker been off his game though this year? What if
he has been off his game, but I feel like it's just a touchback.
Boston Scott takes the opening kickoff back. Wouldn't that be a sight to see?
If
you want to do what will you do on next week's podcast if Boston Scott specifically takes the opening kickoff back?
We'll read it, or I will speak. I'll make a sentence. I'll write a sentence about him in Latin.
I'm gonna hold you to that. That might be the clip for the video.
Would I be?
Boston Scott, you heard it here first.
You heard it here, Boston Scott.
Boston Scott, if you take the opening kickoff back, Zo will write a sentence about you in Latin.
I'll write a sentence about you in Latin, brother. You got it.
Oh, man.
I finished my Latin career with a B+. Very confident.
I had to take it. For someone who took 4 years of Latin in high school, I probably should have tested out of it in college, but I didn't because I just wasn't the greatest Latin student. So I had to take 2 semesters, but it was at an advanced level because we had a language requirement, and I hadn't taken German in a few years. I took it my sophomore and junior year at the prep.
Yeah.
I think my last class I got either a B or B+. So I'm happy with that.
I took the requirement changed after us. So I only had to take it for 2 years. Then I took Spanish for 2 years.
So you had to do 4 years of language when you did it.
Right.
So when I don't know what the rules are now because a lot of things have changed in the prep, but when I was there, we had to take 6 years worth of languages, which obviously sounds funny math, but they're at least 2 years where you're taking multiple language classes at once. So
I think there's still
it had to be at least 2 years of classical and 2 years of modern. So I took German sophomore and junior year.
I think they're still taking at least 6 years.
I'm sure there's some kids who take more.
There's some kids who take more, and they have more that they offer. I think there's
3 years of Greek you can take.
I think they're offering Mandarin too now.
They were when I was there.
Yeah. So I think they're still offering that.
It was Spanish, French, German, Mandarin, and then Latin. And if you took Latin 2, you could be in a specific honors class that had honors Latin 2 / Greek 1.
Yep.
And there was like Greek 2 and Greek 3 you could take.
I remember when we used to have like the honor society day, like the honor society exams, and like the kids who took who were taking Greek, had to take it and like parse like paragraph after paragraph in Greek, and I was just like, holy shit, man. I'm just
trying to watch Iverson drop 35 tonight.
I'm just trying to get to the Sixers game tonight, man. I just remember it to this day. Still one of the most impressive feats I've seen anyone do is like watching somebody write in Greek. It's crazy.
Oh, dude. One of my best friends in high school, and he went to Penn too, and we're close, is Joe Pooler, big prep family, South Philly guy. He might have taken he took 3 years of Greek and then like 3 years of Latin and 3 years or like something insane like that, and he majored in classics at Penn. That was not the path for me. Start getting your Scott on. Get that ready.
I'll get my conjugations.
Scott, get your conjugations ready, bro.
Boston Scott, you got it, bro.
We'll get Eddie Turner to double check that for you.
Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah, great guy. I think he's at the is he at the Hill School now?
Yeah.
He's a great teacher, great guy. All right, we'll wrap up. Zo, you said 34-17.
34-17.
I am 38-23. We'll see who comes closest. Man, while we did a podcast about the fucking Super Bowl, dude.
I know.
Look at us. Look at us.
I mean, look at us, bro. We look at where we started the summer at. Look at where we are now. The live pod where we were like, these guys may be good. And then now we're at the fucking Super Bowl pod, man. I'm proud of us. So to everybody out there, our listeners, thank you. It's been an incredible ride. We're gonna keep this train going. After the season as well, regardless of what happens Sunday. But for all of our sanity's sake, we're praying for a W.
Yep. All right, we'll talk this weekend, Zo. Yep. Everyone out there, enjoy the game, be safe, but also have a shitload of fun if you're on Broad Street after.
Alert.